Well, good evening. Let me get the right camera on here. Kind of a little surprised tonight. I usually fade in, picking a little bit, but I didn't tonight. I do things a little different. I have a little different setup on cameras and whatever, and just thought I would greet you and say glad you're here. I just want to see if anybody guessed which guitar I was going to play tonight. I thought about this last week. You know, a few weeks ago I had, a couple of weeks ago I guess it was, I had showed you a new mixer with it we had bought. And I've been wondering for a week or two what this guitar would sound like through this type mixer with the effects and the different tones and everything. And it sounds pretty good. All right, let's just pick it a little bit and see how it goes. This, I heard not too long ago that this was the second most popular gospel song next to Amazing Grace being number one. And this is number two right here. What a friend we have in Jesus. I hadn't hadn't had the old 6120 off the wall in probably 2 or 3 months. Not since the young man that I bought this guitar from. I've told some of you before, I don't know if you remember or not, but this guitar, when it was bought new, and I think it's a 1995 model, 1995. It belonged to a gentleman that was known as Bubba. Bubba Dykes was the owner of this guitar. And Bubba was the father of Doyle Dykes. And if you know Doyle Dykes and I have become friends over the last 10 or 12 years or so. And we don't see each other often, but we know each other by first name, and we've become good friends over the years. And but his dad owned this guitar 2 years before he died. And in fact, it's signed right here, Doyle Dykes, 97. That's when this guitar was sold at the Chet Atkins convention in Nashville, Tennessee. And I had a friend that bought this guitar back then, way back then, and he used to go to church with my brother Verge over in Dallas, Georgia, and played this guitar there some. It's only that's the only time I think it's been out of the house. It's like a new guitar, and he blessed me with a tremendous price on it a couple of years ago, and I've been playing it because I wanted it because I had an orange Gretsch like this when I was a teenager, and I said this brought back my teenage years. I didn't play this thing a while this evening. What I was going to say is I haven't played it much because of this issue I had with this finger, and I got that straightened out about 4 weeks ago, and it sure has been a blessing. And I'm not a fast player. I'm not a great player. I'm just an old guitar picker, and but I've been learning to play for 65 years now, and started when I was 10 years old, and still learning. But it's a lot easier to play it, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to play it. Anyway, I was going to tell you the story behind buying this guitar. The reason the young man sold it to me is because his arthritis had got so bad he couldn't play it. And he had 3 or 4 more guitars like some of us do. And so he decided to bless me with it. And I sure appreciate him doing that. And Who Am I? That's a great old song. Love to play that. Let me see if anybody on here on my Facebook page tonight. Anybody watching? Yeah, we got a few on there. I always forget to turn this thing down, make sure it's down. I see. There's my buddy from down in Middle Georgia, Papa Joe. Papa Joe always shows up. He tells me he gets it. I forget what J200. I think he's got Gibson, old vintage Gibson guitar out and strums along. We're gonna come down there and play sometime at his church. Me and him's gonna jam a little bit, one of these days. It's always good to see you, Papa Joe. And Neil Pope says, "Hey CB." Well, hell, hey Neil Pope. I said, "Hey there, bud." Oh Lord. Oh, sounds good. Well, I appreciate the compliment, buddy. I work hard at it. And my buddy Wayne Chase. Steve Hanks. I always enjoy seeing your post, Steve. And instead of 39, you got 39 Chevy. That sure was a mighty fine looking car. Anyway, but I'm glad y'all here. And I could go back and remember the years. I played this, but I had an old orange Gretsch like this. Linda and I got the guitar before I knew her. I was dating Linda when I had that guitar like this. I had it through my teen years, and I was 20. I guess I was 20 years old, and I traded that guitar for a brand new Country Gentleman. It was kind of a cherry color, beautiful guitar, and I played that the time I went with Wendy Bagwell and a while with him. But I got it about the time we started dating. I don't remember if I had well, not this guitar, but one like it. But I know I played this thing, and I played that orange Gretsch. It's a funny story. We used to play a lot of churches, a lot of different places, but there was a couple out in Lithia Springs, Georgia. Their last name was Mayfield, brother and sister Mayfield. And they had a prayer meeting once a month at their house on Friday night. And we would go out and play for that prayer meeting on Friday night. And I had got that orange Gretsch guitar and a new amplifier. I certainly didn't have the money, so it got financed. I had 24 friendly payments. Is that how they say it? Payments aren't friendly, but I had 24 easy payments, maybe. And but I would go play that. I remember the payments on that guitar at that finance company was $30 a month. And every time we'd go out to brother and sister Mayfield's house every month and play for that prayer meeting. And I'm sitting here racking my brain while I'm talking because I know this man from, and Linda will probably come in and tell me in a minute, but I knew this preacher all my life. He was one of the finest men you would ever come across. He was one of the greatest guys. I think he lived maybe up in his 90s, I don't know. But he was such a gentleman. But every time we'd be there playing, he'd say, "All right, folks, this boy's got a guitar payment due." Neil. And Neil? What was Neil's last name?
Williams.
Who?
Williams.
I can't hear you.
Williams.
Neil Williams. Neil Williams. And some of my old friends might remember Neil Williams. Linda's not dressed to come in. She didn't come in today. She's had a couple of rough days. My sister's had some problems and been in a hospital a day or two, and Linda's been trying to deal with that, and so she didn't get dressed to come in tonight. But anyway, Neil Williams would say, "All right, folks, this boy's got a guitar payment due." And they would, this one put a 1 in, it might be a 5 every now and then, but somehow or another, every time I'd count that money after the service, it'd be right about $30. And so there was a lot of months that they paid for that orange Gretsch guitar that I played back then. God is good. I didn't realize the goodness of God back then as a kid as I do now. More and more every day we realize His goodness and how great He is and how He provides for us, how He takes care of us, and He favors us. And He actually gives us the desires of our heart. If our heart is in the right place, that don't mean you can say, oh, I want 4 Lincolns or 3 new Cadillacs in my garage, and I want this and this and this. I think if our heart, we have the right motives and the right relationship with God, that He will give us the desires of our heart and the things that we want in life. And I'm talking material things too. And He's done that over the years. Or we've had, I'm talking a lot tonight. I ain't been on here 2 weeks. We've had 14 buses. So I was talking cuz yesterday about motorhomes, and we've had about 8 motorhomes, I think. We've got one now. We've owned 14 buses, and God has blessed us in the transportation over the last 30 or 40 years. And our ministry has been full-time with Linda now over 30 years. But anyway, let me quit talking and play what I played. This is what I used to play on that old orange Gretsch guitar. I was able to do the stretch on this one. I set 3 cameras up tonight. That's the first time I switched to this one over here. But well, we're well, Linda said a while ago. She said next week I'll be ready to sing some. I said, well, that'll be okay, but we'll be singing next week. We won't be on Facebook Live or anything, but next Tuesday night we're going to leave. Wednesday, tomorrow is Wednesday, we'll leave Thursday. And we're going down to spend some time with the kids. Donna, our baby girl, she's owned a beach house. Her and her husband and her family, they've owned a beach house at Myrtle Beach for 2 or 3 years. They rent it out. It's investment property. And they're able to enjoy it a lot. They love going to Myrtle Beach, and so they spend a lot of time down there. And we've gone down bunches of times with them. And it's 450 miles from here. I wish they moved it a little closer to Center, Alabama. But we love going down. But the whole family's getting together this weekend. Dylan, the number 2 grandson, he's got a birthday coming up right before I do. And but he's coming over from, he lives around Wilmington, North Carolina. That's where he's working after he got out of college. Drew still lives in High Point, but him and his fiance, I used to say girlfriend, but it's now fiance. They're coming over, and of course Don and Dan will be down, and we're going down. And we're going to put the motorhome in the campground. Ocean Lakes Resort is where their house is. There's over 2,000 houses, beach houses in that development. Jeff and Sherry Easter own a couple houses in there. We see Jeff and Sherry down there every now and then. I was sitting in my recliner one day, and I got a picture of a selfie of Jeff and Sherry and Donna and Dan on a golf cart. They were, Jeff and Sherry own 2 houses down there, and so we run into them every now and then. But we're going to go down in the motorhome. The house is a 2-bedroom. It's got a bunch of beds, and you can sleep in the living room and this. But we're going to the motorhome. One thing, we have a date coming back. We're going to be, like I say, we're coming back Tuesday. We'll leave down there Monday and drive back to Augusta, Georgia. And Tuesday night, we're going to be at Bible Deliverance Church. Now, I didn't look on my date book, and I just need to take time and do that, so I'll tell you right. That's August, isn't it? Ocean Lake, that's, well, wrote Augusta, Georgia in there, but I didn't write the time. I think it might be around 6:30, 6 or 6:30. Anyway, I'll let you know on Facebook. Watch me on Facebook, and I'll put it on next week. But the church is at 3701 Riverwatch Parkway. Now that's just right in Martinez. Martinez is part of Augusta. Riverwatch Parkway is right off of, I think, of Washington Road. It's not far off of I-20. The church is not just 5 minutes from I-20 there, kind of. You're going west, so that will be on the north side of Augusta. But anyway, next Tuesday night, and we've got friends, we've got pastor friends, several churches we've been to around the Augusta area over the years, and I hope I can get the words of some of them and come up. Brother Robert Cook, and there's another pastor over in Aiken, South Carolina, other side of Aiken, South Carolina. But we got a bunch of friends around the Augusta area, and I hope they're not too busy and come out and be in service with us a week from tonight there in Augusta, Georgia, at Bible Deliverance Church, and that's with Pastor Randy and Mary Bird. I've been knowing Randy Bird since 1959. He and I played music with his mom and dad, and my dad sang a little bit for a few months, for a period there, before my daddy started a group in 1960. This was 1959. I was playing a little bit of mandolin. And so Randy and I go back. He's a tremendous musician. Randy plays anything he puts his hand. He's a good fiddle player. He plays dobro, plays electric guitar, plays 5-string banjo. If it's got strings on it, that boy plays it. And but we're looking so forward to being with him on next Tuesday night. So be ready to join us. All right, folks. I'll play one more quick song. Let me check my thing on here again right quick, see if anybody else has made any comments or something I need to know about. And there we go. What's that, Cousin Tom? How you doing, bud? We're going to get up there to see you folks in the next few weeks. And we're going to come to Carolina. I got to see all my cousins. All my aunts and uncles have gone to be with the Lord. And all I got left is cousins, but cousins are valuable. And I got them Clay boys up there, Tommy and Junior Clay and Deanie Clay. That's on my dad's side. And on my mama's side, I got Vicky Klein. Vicky lives in up around the Concord area up there. And for privacy reasons, I won't tell where these folks live. And but they're all up in the Carolinas where I was born. And, but I'm gonna go up and see all of them, spend some time with them before long. I got 2 or 3 old songs that I just love to play, and sometimes I'm sitting here by myself and trying to make sure these fingers still work, and I'll play a little bit here in the office, and sometimes for an hour. I've sat here and played 2 hours just for my own listening pleasure. No, really keep this arthritis down. But I played this song as much as any song I've played because we're coming up on November. We've got September and October, and then November, just 2 months away. I believe it was November the 4th, 10 years ago, 2013, that Linda and I came in off of a 10-day tour, and it's one of the hardest tours that I had ever done in the 30 years that she and I had been in full-time ministry. And it seemed like every church that we was in either had long steps or long ramps, and carrying equipment in and out and everything, all the problems that went with it. It was the hardest thing I ever did. And I came home, and the next Sunday we was over in Hiram, Georgia, And I struggled through that service. And the next day I went to the emergency room, and they said, after a couple of days of tests, they said, you ain't going home. So they did open heart surgery. I've had 3 stents since then. I still have some problems with it because they said I had a heart attack. Now, I never knew I had a heart attack, but they said I did. And it damaged some muscles in the ball of my heart, caused them to be stiff, and the heart can't pump as much blood as it needs to my lungs to create the oxygen that I need. So I have a real struggle breathing these days. And but this too is going to pass. But I didn't know that was coming. I sure didn't see that was coming. I thought I knew some things were happening, but I thought, well, I'll have to go there and they'd do that rotor-rooter thing. They'll go in there and flex them out or put a stent in, I'll be okay. But I didn't know it was going to be open heart surgery. And then a few years after that, Linda had bypass surgery. But I sure didn't see that one coming. I know her dad and her family was plagued with heart trouble. So there's a family history there. There was a lot of family history for me. But she's had open heart surgery. My brother Verge, he had open heart surgery 3 weeks before Linda did. Everyone, my cousins in North Carolina, those Clay boys, I don't think Dean has, I don't know, remember, but we've all had our share of the heart issues. But God has been faithful. He's kept us here for a reason. And so I play this song a lot because we sure don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, do we? We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We never have a clue the next day when we wake up of what's going to take place. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but the song says, I know who holds tomorrow. holds my hand. All right, folks, we'll get out of here. And, it's about tea time. Good old Lipton iced tea. Well, I appreciate very much all of you that watched the program tonight. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. And I'm looking down here, and we'll do a couple things here. And see if I can't get out of here like I'm supposed to, real nice and neat and quietly. God bless every one of you, and hope you'll be back in a couple of weeks. See you now.